Hello. In this video, I'd like to discuss two techniques from Chapter 5 that I plan to use to provide feedback that truly moves learning forward. The two techniques I'll be focusing on are developing a growth mindset in students and designing feedback as part of a system. First, let's start with the idea of developing a growth mindset in students. We know that students often approach learning with a fixed mindset, believing that their intelligence or ability in a subject is set and can't change. However, by promoting a growth mindset, we can help students see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles they can't overcome. This approach can make a huge difference in how students react to feedback and work toward improvement. To foster a growth mindset in my 7th grade science class, I plan to focus my feedback on the effort and strategies students use rather than just the final result. For example, if a student struggles with a lab report or a science concept, instead of simply pointing out errors or giving a grade, I'll highlight where they put in good effort. Like saying, I see that you tried a different approach with your data analysis, and that's great. Now, let's focus on improving the clarity of your explanation. This kind of feedback emphasizes that mistakes are a natural part of learning and they can always grow by improving their strategies. Additionally, I'll introduce activities that show students how their brain can develop new skills through practice. In my feedback, I'll use language like not yet to indicate that they haven't mastered a concept but are on their way. I believe this will encourage students to view feedback as part of their learning journey rather than a judgment of their abilities. Over time, I hope to see students becoming more resilient and motivated to take on challenges, especially in more difficult science topics like genetics or ecosystems. Next, I'd like to discuss how I plan to design feedback as part of a system. Feedback is most effective when it's consistent and builds over time. I plan to create a structured system where feedback is not just a one-time event, but a continuous cycle of learning and improvement. In my science classroom, I'll give regular formative feedback, such as during hands-on experiments or class discussions, and tie it directly into summative assessments like projects or tests. This will allow students to see how their ongoing work connects to larger learning goals. For example, during a unit on ecosystems, I might provide feedback on smaller tasks like creating food chain diagrams or summarizing energy flow through an ecosystem. I'll give students suggestions to refine their work, and we progress through the unit. I'll refer back to this feedback, showing how they can apply it to larger assignments like creating a more comprehensive ecosystem model. By doing this, feedback becomes part of a bigger system that helps students track their progress over time. This approach also encourages students to take ownership of their learning. Instead of receiving feedback passively, I'll prompt students to reflect on previous comments before submitting new assignments. For instance, if they receive feedback on using specific vocabulary more accurately, I'll ask them to review this feedback and make sure they apply it to future assignments. This helps students recognize the value of feedback as an ongoing tool, not something that's disconnected from their future work. In conclusion, by focusing on developing a growth mindset in students and designing feedback as part of a system, I aim to create an environment where students are motivated to keep improving and see feedback as an essential part of their learning journey. These two techniques should help them approach science with more confidence and persistence, moving their learning forward in meaningful ways. Thank you for watching.